Hello everybody and welcome to All About Africa. My name is Moitinya and I am a visual storyteller who happens to be visually impaired. Now, Gabon has decided to announce its own coup, and that was the 30th of August. There's a whole lot happening in Africa. I mean, people are jubilating, dancing and singing on the streets because they really want to get this president out, and they have gotten him out. And when I did my Google search, the president, whose name is Mr. Ali Bongo Ondimba, was listed as former president of the country, Gabon. Now, on to this episode, we're going to be breaking down the situation. What led to another coup in Africa? Why does this keep happening? What does this mean for the people? What are they demanding for? And what is the political system of the country itself? Now, before we dive into all of that stuff that I just shared with you, I want to begin with a question. And the question is democracy the right form of leadership for Africa? That's the question. Keep that in mind while you listen to me, and if you have an answer, share it below. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Now, Gabon sounds like a very beautiful country. It's a former French colony, gained its independence in the 60s, just like every other countries in Africa. About 2.3 million people live in the country. It's oil-rich, wealthy country in terms of natural resources, but just like every other countries in Africa, very, very poor. Very, very poor. You know, I want to share with you a statistic which I didn't do last time, and the statistic is this: there are 28 poorest countries in the world, right? 27 of the 28 are found in Africa. So just to let you know, when I talk about poorest countries, you know that we are on the list of the poorest countries, right? It doesn't matter what part of Africa you're from. Some of us are on that list, right? As a nation per se. But listen though, on the 26th of August, an election was held. Mr. Ali Bongo Ondimba was elected president for the third time. This man has run first, second, and now the third time. And so he won with 64 votes. Now, this is not the gist. The situation is this: his father, Mr. Omar Bongo, ran the country for 40 years before he died in 2009. The man actually died being in power. And then his son took over. And that was the reason why I asked that question in the beginning. Is this a monarchy system, or is this a democratic system? Because in our history as Africa and as Africans, we have a monolithic system where kingships, queens run their different palaces, you know, and they ran it for decades. They don't give any person who's not a king or queen leadership roles, right? So is that what's going on with the situation across Africa? Because Gabon is just one of them, though. There's several other countries in Africa that has gone through the situations where they don't want to leave power. They're not making changes, but they're not leaving either. And then for a man, Mr. Ali Gambo, Mr. Omar, to become president for more than 40 decades, not 40 decades, for 44 decades, right? So for him to be in power for 4 decades, and then his son decides to get in. You know what I mean? Like, people are tired. So is democracy right for Africa? I know that the reason why democracy was established was for multi-party elections. Multi-party elections just means different parties come together, they pick a leader, and everybody within that party runs for president, right? They run, and then the majority of the vote wins, right? So in the US, you have the Democrat, the Republican, the social, the anti-social. And in Nigeria, you have the CDP, APP, QQQ, AAA, MOM. You know, you have all these political people, and then they all decide to pick somebody, or these people decide to start their own parties, and they individually run, and then they collectively, as a nation, everyone decide who they want as a leader, depending on what their political agenda is, right? So with this particular situation, it doesn't look like that's what's happening right now. Now, the massive difference between Niger, which is what we talked about last week, Coup, and Gabon is this: Niger is trying to kick out the French troops. This is an external force, while Gabon is trying to change its structural system, right? Institutional. So the people who took over, the soldiers who took over, do not refer to themselves or do not refer to the situation as a coup. They refer to the situation, right, as a palace revolution. So they're trying to reinstall rather or change the political aspect, the economic aspect, the social aspect, and the political aspect of the country. And they see themselves as people who's coming to restore that or create that rather. So, and the Gabonese president is scared out of his mind. And because I knew this, because he did a video that I want to share with you right now. Let's watch this.
I'm Ali Bongo Ondimba, president of Gabon. And I'm to send a message to all the friends that we have all over the world to tell them to make noise. For the people here have arrested me and my family. My son is somewhere, my wife is in another place, and I'm at the residence. Right now, I'm in the residence and nothing is happening. I don't know what's going on. So I'm calling you to make noise, really. I'm thanking you. Thank you.
He wants us to make noise because he's unaware of what's happening and he wants people to come to his rescue, But if your father and son, they both ran a country for 56 years, Gabon independence is just as old, or rather, the ruling of these two fathers and son is just as old as the country's independence. So change has to happen. People are demanding for change. And what we're seeing today, as I shared with you on last episode, is whether it's an external change, whether it's an internal change, people are just demanding for change. And for my own personal take though, an external change is easier to do. So if you're trying to buy a Kwekwe car, you're changing from a Kwekwe car to a Ferrari, that's a nice change, right? External change is easier. Internal change is a lot more difficult. So what the Niger are doing right now is more an external, trying to get the French troops out before they start to take over their country and work on their country, right? But what Gabon is doing is an internal change. And that is indeed very, very tough. Now, the people, the Gabonese, are rejoicing, they're excited because they are searching for change, right? Now, I want to share with you a post that one of the viewers left me, and I'm going to put this up on the screen for you to see as well. And the quote goes, it says, "All these coups just give Africa regions a worse reputation. Investors will want to pay more to have a factory in a more stable country than in the 4 coups countries." I don't doubt this. But to an average person, they don't care about investors. They care about being able to eat. So a lot of the coups that we're seeing today is people, they're looking for social, economic, political type of change. People want a better life for themselves. Years ago, I interviewed a woman, a very powerful woman in the African leadership situation. And I remember one of my questions, I don't want to give her name, was, why is their leadership in Africa so poor? Something along the lines of, if the leadership in Africa is pretty strong, right, was strong or is strong, whichever English you're going to use, then many of us are not going to be leaving our countries. I saw an article this morning where it says 4 sons tried to cross from Africa to Europe. Only one of them made it home. So in a situation like this, if there's a good leadership, people will not be leaving their country. And I asked her that question, why is that? Why is there poor leadership in Africa? And she attacked me. And she said, I am making a sweeping statement and I'm saying that all leaders in Africa are poor. But that is not the case, right? That is not what I was implying. Because to be honest with you, if you are African and you're watching this video, I want you to let me know if the leadership in your country is good. If the leadership in your country is good, please comment below and let me know. And what's good about the leadership? Are you taking care of Are your family taken care of? Are the basic needs met? And with this political person that I'm sharing with you, if our countries, if our leaders were good, many of us will not be outside of the country. That is just the honest truth, right? So the leadership in Africa needs to be changed, and that's why we're seeing a lot of coups. Whether it's been from what is it called? Whether it's been the West trying to take over Africa, whether it's been Africans themselves trying to fight for their own rights as people, it still doesn't matter. Where people are just searching for some kind of change, and change is not always very easy. So I'm going to open this up to a dynamic, positive, share your thoughts type of situation. So please share your thoughts below. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. If you've been here from day one, thank you and welcome. And also share your thoughts. I do want to say to you all, thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. We hope to see you again. And do not forget to subscribe. Click on the notification bell to be the first to receive any new content. And I'll see you again